Okay, today we're going to do that from Hey Ahmed Base. And speaking about different malachas that a person could do on Erev Pesach. And a lot of these rules apply also to Chol Hamoed. We're going to see soon. We're speaking about now the malachas the person could do on Erev Pesach. So let's just start from Potash and Hey Ahmed Aleph all the way at the bottom. Potash, we learned in a brace like this. Meir says, any malacha which is for Yom Tov, let's say you're making clothes for Yom Tov or other things, you're able to finish it off on Erev Pesach, even though the minig is not to do malacha on Erev Pesach, but if it's a malacha for Yom Tov, you're able to finish it off on Erev Pesach. A Masechta, the Braisa says, when are you able to finish it off? If you started sewing or doing this malacha before Erev Pesach, when you started Yud Gimel or Yud Beis, so then you're able to finish it off on Erev Pesach. If you never started doing the malacha before Erev Pesach, meaning on Erev Pesach in the morning you woke up and decided that you want a nice clothes for Yom Tov and you decided to start sewing something, you cannot start a malacha on Erev Pesach even if it's for Yom Tov. Even if it's a small belt, even if it's small tichol, then you're not able to start a malacha on Erev Pesach. Now, from that which Rabbi says that any malacha which is dafka for Yom Tov is mashma l'tzorech hamayedin. When is it muter to finish off a malacha if it's dafka for Yom Tov? But if it's not for Yom Tov, let's say you're sewing jeans for the week, or you're sewing something for during the week, you're not sewing it, you're sewing it for Yom Tov especially. So even to finish it, you're not able to. To start, for sure not. To start, even for Yom Tov, you can't start doing something which is for Yom Tov. But to finish, so if it's for Yom Tov, then you're able to finish it. If it's not for Yom Tov, then you have to wait till after Pesach or Chol Hamoed, we'll see soon. But you cannot do it on Erev Pesach because Erev Pesach is asur to do malach. Says the Gemara, Hu hadin dafilu shelei l'tzorech nami gamrina. Really, I could say that which Rabbi said that you're able to finish something dafka for Yom Tov is really, even if it's not for Yom Tov, even if you're sewing stamazeh, you're just sewing clothes for during the week, you're also able to finish. And that which Rabbi said that dafka for Yom Tov, it didn't mean dafka for Yom Tov. He meant like this: that which Rabbi said in the Braisa that if you're sewing clothes for Yom Tov, then you're able to finish them off in Erev Pesach. He didn't mean to say that only if you're sewing clothes for Yom Tov, then you can finish them off on Erev Pesach. What he meant to say is that even if you're sewing, you're doing a malacha, which is very necessary for Yom Tov, because you're doing it for Yom Tov, even then, you're not able to start the malacha, you're only able to finish it. Even according to Rabbi, there's no difference between a malacha which is for Yom Tov, a malacha which is even for after Yom Tov regarding finishing. Everyone agree, every item you want to finish on Erev Pesach, as long as you're finishing it, is fine according to the Rabbi. So we have two ways of learning. Either the Rabbi is saying only clothes which are for Yom Tov that you're able to finish, as opposed to clothes which aren't for Yom Tov, even to finish you can't. And the other shita is that no, when it comes to finishing clothes or finishing a malacha, all things are equal, whether it's for Yom Tov or it's not for Yom Tov. The Rabbi is saying that he's telling us a chiddush. Even if you're sewing something for Yom Tov, it's for covered Yom Tov, you're not able to start malacha, you're only able to finish it. Mar goes weiter. Tashma, we learn in the Braisa. The Meir says, "Kol malacha shel tzorech hamoed, any malacha which is for Yom Tov, meaning for Pesach, you're able to finish it on Erev Pesach. She'ein tzorech hamoed, but if it's not for Yom Tov, asur, then you cannot finish it on Erev Pesach. Meaning you cannot do that malacha on Erev Pesach." He finishes off, "Va'isem malacha ba'aver Pesachim ad chatzos b'makom shenagu." If the meaning of the place is to do malacha until chatzos, then you could keep the minig of the place. The Braisa continues, Makim shenagu in, shlei nagu, if the meaning of the place is to do malacha, then you could do malacha on Erev Pesach until chatzos. But lei nagu, but if the meaning of the place is not to do malacha, then you can't do malacha. Meaning the Braisa is speaking about finishing off malacha. And at the end of the Braisa, it says that if the meaning of the place is to do malacha, then you can finish it off. But if the meaning of the place is not to do malacha, it's mashma that that it's that you can't do malacha if the meaning of the place is not to do malacha. Ushmamina. From here we see the tzarech hamayed in. From here we see from the Brisa that which Rabbi said clearly that if you're doing a malacha for Pesach, then you're able to finish it off. If you're doing a malacha not for Pesach, then you can't finish it off. So the last Brisa we brought previously, it didn't specifically state a difference between the tzarech hamayid or not a tzarech hamayid. But the Brisa we found now specifically says that if it's for Pesach, then you're able to finish it off, even in a place that the minig is not to do malacha. But if it's not for Pesach, then if it's in a place that the minig is not to do malacha, then it's also even to finish off small touches because it's not for Pesach. Shmami, no, the Gemara finishes off. This is Maskana, the suffix we had yesterday. And this is Maskana, the Gemara, that's the halacha in Shulchan Aruch, that if you have a malacha, if you want to finish off malacha, if you want to finish off final touches to item, so if it's for Pesach, then you're able to do it. If it's not for Pesach, then you have to push it off to afterwards. Going further, quoting from the Mishnah. Chachamim say, we finished off saying that even though the minig is not to work on Erev Pesach, Chachamim said there's three workers who work on Erev Pesach. Who are they? We said it was tailors, it was people who cut hair, barbers, and it was people who wash clothes, because all these things are necessary. We're going to see soon why. And if you added, even people who make shoes are able to work on Erev Pesach. So if you're going to walk down a marketplace in Erev Pesach, you're only going to see 4 types of people working: barbers, cleaners, tailors, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, shoemakers. Tan, why are they after these things mutter? Tan, we learn about hachayotin, people who make clothes. If you have tailors, shekain, why is it mutter on Erev Pesach? Shekain hedye tefek kedarke b'chalamayit, because just like a chalamayit, which chalamayit is also asa b'malacha. Chalamayit is also to work. It's also asa to work. Nevertheless, on chalamayit we said a rule that a person is able to sew on chalamayit. So too, if on chalamayit you're able to sew for sure on Erev Pesach, which is only Gzeir D'Rabbanan, then you're able to sew on Erev Pesach. That's why the tailors could work. So to hasaparim ba'aketzim, why could barbers work on Erev Pesach and cleaners work on Erev Pesach? Sheken haba mimdina sayam, because we find that din regarding chalamayit that someone who came from overseas, so he didn't have time to take a haircut on Erev Yom Tov. So to someone who was freed from jail on Erev Yom Tov. Mesaplim are able to take a haircut on Chalamayid, and Machapsin are able to wash their clothes on Chalamayid b'chol Hashemayid. So if there's a circumstance that you're able to wash your clothes on Chalamayid, so to for sure you're able to wash your clothes on Erev Pesach also, because Erev Pesach can't be stricter than Chalamayid, because according to Chalamayid, some shit to say that it's also even deraisa to do malach on Chalamayid. So therefore, if you could do these types of malachas on Chalamayid, for sure you could do them on Erev Pesach. Rabbi Yehuda added the third category. Rabbi Yehuda added after that son. Even the people who make shoes are able to work on Erev Pesach. Why does Rabbi Yehuda add that, as opposed to Chacham didn't mention this category? So the Gemara answers, we find that people who came to the Beis Hamikdash, and the shoes were broken, whatever it was, they were able to fix their shoes on Cholamayid. So we see from over here, since they permitted these malachas on Cholamayid, they permitted them also on Erev Pesach. Says the Gemara, what is the reasoning behind the machlekes between Rabbi Yossi and Chachamim? Chachamim didn't say that relate Rabbi Yossi, if someone has a shoe shop, he's able to work on Cholam, he's able to work on Erev Pesach. As opposed to Chachamim only mentioned these 3 people: the barbers, the barbers, and the washer, the people who wash clothes, and the tailors. But the Chachamim didn't mention people who make shoes, which is mashma that according to Chachamim, you can't make shoes on Erev Pesach. So what is the reasoning of the argument? Answers the Gemara, my Sava, according to Rabbi Yossi, who says that you're able to make shoes on Erev Yom Tov. Sava, he holds that we learn out the din of making a new malacha from the din of the end of a malacha. What does that mean? It means like this: since Chachamim said that you're able to fix your shoes on Cholamayid, so the Rabbi Yossi takes the extreme and says not only able to fix your shoes, but you're also able to make shoes. As opposed to Chachamim say, no, we don't learn out fixing shoes. We don't learn out making new shoes from the din of fixing shoes. That what you said you're able to fix your shoes is only regarding fixing. Regarding making shoes is already extreme, and therefore according to Chachamim, they say you cannot make shoes on Erev Pesach. So as opposed to the Rabbi Yossi, who says that you could make shoes on Erev Pesach. Moving on to the Mishnah and here with base, the Mishnah says, now we're speaking about different malachis that a person is able to do on Erev Pesach. So most of these malachis we're saying now are malachis which regard to a farm. So the Gemara said, the Mishnah says, if a person has hens, person has chickens, and he needs the eggs, so he's able to put chickens on the eggs or set up the nest and put the chicken on the nest in order to warm up the eggs. And or to grow chicks. But also, so even though this is a malach and this is a work of the field, but still we're going to see soon why. But you're able to do this on Baba, so you're able to do this on Erev Pesach. So too, if you have a chicken that escaped, a chicken that was heating up the eggs and escaped, you're able to go chase after it and put it back onto the nest. And if the chicken died, if the hen died, you're able to put another hen on its place to make sure the eggs stay warm. So we see over here anything got to do with keeping the eggs warm. You're able to put a chicken on. You're able to chase after a chicken to put it back on, and you're able to replace the chicken if it died. Another type of malacha they did in the fields in those days. You're able to brush off dirt or manure from the legs of an animal on the 14th. Yeah, the animals used to walk around the fields, and they're especially horses and other things. They used to get their shoes their feet very, very dirty. So you're able to clean their feet on Erev Pesach, even though it's a malacha, but you're still able to do it on Erev Pesach. We'll see why. Uvamayid, as opposed to Uvamayid, and so too. Sorry. So we take off the dirt of our animal on the 14th and we put it in the garbage, we put it in the rubbish outside. So you're able to take off the dirt and clean out your field. But if a maid and chalamayid is on Erev Pesach, chalamayid, which is more stringent, what do? You're able to clean the animal, but you can't take out the manure outside. You have to masalkin it studying, you put it on the side of the field. So on Erev Pesach, which is more lenient, you're able to take, once you're dealing with the animal already, you're able to take all the dirt and put it in the rubbish. But on chalamayid, which is more stringent, so you could do much less malacha. So you can't put it in the rubbish. You could clean the animal because it's needed for animals' health, but you have to put it on the side of your field, and then after Pesach, after chalamayid, you take it to the rubbish. Another thing we could do is malich and kalim umivin. When a person is able to bring vessels to the carpenter or to the person who's going to fix them, umivin, you're able to also pick them up from the professionals fixing them, like cleaners, etc. Even though the vessel, let's say you put your phone to get fixed by the Apple shop, so you're able to go on Erev Pesach to put your phone there, and you're also able to pick it up on Pesach on Erev Pesach, even though it's not needed for Yom Tov, but you're still able to do these things on Yom Tov. We'll see in a second why. Ask the Gemara with the first part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that we're able to put a hen on the eggs, and you're able also to chase after a hen that escaped. Says the Gemara, if the Mishnah already told me in the first case, in the Mishnah, they're able to take a hen and put it on the eggs. Does the Mishnah have to tell me that I'm able to bring back a hen if it ran away? If I'm able to put a hen there in the first place, for sure, if the hen ran away, I'm able to bring it back. Answers the Gemara, I'm not buying. Rabbi answers, the Mishnah has come to teach us the rest. It's a introduction to the rest of the Mishnah. To what? What does the Mishnah mean to say? The Mishnah means to say that you're able to put eggs, you're able to put a hen on the eggs on Erev Pesach, but regarding chalamayid, you're not able to put eggs on a hen on the eggs on Erev Pesach. But if you had the chicken there already and it escaped, then you're able to chase after it even on Chal Hamayid. So regarding Erev Pesach, you're able to put a hen there, and if it escapes, for sure you're able to bring it back. On Chal Hamayid, you can't put a hen there. You say it's starting a new malacha, you can't do that. But if you had a hen there from before Chal Hamayid and it ran away, then you're able to go pick it up. Amar Ravuna said, just more details about this malacha. Lo shanu, we only said on Chal Hamayid that it's mutter to bring back the eggs, bring back the hen, only if it's within 3 days that it ran away. Because if it's 3 days after it ran away, if it's still not 3 days, if it's more than 3 days after it ran away, then it's still warm and it still has feathers. It wasn't in the wild for a long time, and therefore it's still a healthy chicken. And therefore, if it's less than 3 days, then you're able to bring it back. But if And so to another din is if you only mutter to bring back the hen onto the chickens if it was on the chicks or if it was on the eggs for more than 3 days. Why? The pasta lay bay lagam, because if the eggs were incubating for 3 days and then the chicken ran away, so the eggs are going to go bad. But if it's more than 3 days after the chicken ran away, and now you're going to go chase after it, because now the parach now it's not a healthy chicken anymore. And or it's within 3 days that it's sitting on the chicken. Let's say you put it on the eggs on Sunday, and it ran away on Monday. So there's no problem if the chicken runs away because the eggs weren't incubating enough for them to go bad if there's no chicken on them. So we'll get another chicken soon. So then we do not bring it back, meaning that. Let's see in a second. Rabbi says, even if it's within 3 days of the chicken sitting on the eggs, meaning you put it on Sunday and escape on Monday, you're still able to chase after it and pick it up. Madinan, you're able to bring it back, even on Chalamed. Why? What is the machlekes between Rabbi who says that you're able to bring back the chicken within 3 days, and Tanakam who says you cannot bring back the chicken? Marsaba holds lehefs merubah. Kashushu lehefs muad. If it's a big loss, meaning if it's after 3 days that it sat on the chicken, and if you're not going to sat on the eggs, if you're not going to bring them back, then the eggs are going to go bad. So for that thing, if you to chase after the eggs, but have some more. Meaning if it's only a small loss. For example, it's within 3 days that the chicken, you only put the chicken less than 3 days ago on the hen. If it's not going to come back, then the eggs are still good. You could still sell them, but you might have to make them cheaper or whatever it is, but you can still sell the eggs in the market. So then, and therefore you cannot chase after. But Rabbi says no. The more. Chachamim were also cared about a small loss, and therefore even if a chicken they were incubating ready for 1 day, so they're already not regular eggs 100% because normal eggs aren't incubated. These eggs were already incubating for 1 day. So you're going to have to sell them cheap in the market. Rabbi says, since you're going to have to sell them cheap in the market, Chachamim were greater that Takana, and therefore you're able to chase after the chicken. So that's an interesting machlekes where Chachamim made their Takanas in a place that someone's going to lose a bit of money. If it's a lot of money, everyone agrees Chachamim weren't greater. But if it's a little bit of money, then machlekes Amiraim, whether Chachamim were greater or not. Says the Mishnah further. The Mishnah said, Gerfin mitachas, they were able to take off dirt from under the legs of an animal and put it in the rubbish. On Chalamed, you can't put it in the rubbish, you have to put it on the side. We learn the Brisa regarding this din. If you have manure, if you have dirt, rubbish in the field, you're able to you put it on the you can't take it out of the field, but you should put it on the side of the field. But if you have a barn or if you have a field, we'll see in a second what field means over here because it's not a big contradicting. But if you have a barn or a field, you're able to even take it to the rubbish. So if it's a regular field, then you can't take it to the rubbish. You have to put it to the side. If it's a barn or a field, then you could take it even to the rubbish. I asked the Gemara an obvious question. I'll go for kasha. The Brisa is contradicting itself from beginning to end. I'm not. First, you tell me that if you have rubbish in a field, then you can't take it to the rubbish. But you have to put it to the side. And then the next statement of the Brisa says, if you have rubbish in a barn and a field, so a barn obviously is different than a field. But the Brisa says that if you have a barn or a field, we said a second ago that a field, you cannot take it out to the rubbish, you have to put it to the side. So how does that fit with the second half of the Brisa that says even a field, you could take it to the rubbish? Answers the Gemara, Rabbi, like Kash is not a question. Very simple. So the first half of the Brisa is speaking about the second half of the Brisa that says that it's mutter to take out rubbish from a field is speaking about on the 14th on Erev Pesach, which on Erev Pesach, even though it's usher to do malacha, but it's still more lenient. Therefore, Chacham said that you could take it even outside to the rubbish. But that which Brisa said by a field, you can't take out to the rubbish. It wasn't speaking about Erev Pesach. It's speaking about it's speaking about Chalamed, and therefore Chalamed you can only push it to the side, but you cannot take it out to the rubbish. One answer. Another answer, Rabbi says, both Brises are speaking about Chalamed. This is what the Brise means to say. If your barn, if your field has so much rubbish that it looks like a barn, which a barn is naturally much, much more dirty than a field. So if you have a field that's so dirty that it looks like a barn, so then Mekon said that you're able to take it outside even to the rubbish. So we have two ways of answering the brisa. Either we're answering the brisa that speaking about 2 different days. One day speaking about Erev Pesach, and the second half says that you're able to take it out into the. You can't take it out to the rubbish speaking about the Chol Hamoed. And the second answer is that it depends how your field looks like. If you have a regular field, so then you can only take the rubbish to the side, but you cannot put it in the rubbish. But if you have a field that's so dirty that it looks like a barn, so it's filthy, so then you're able to take it even to the rubbish for your convenience. Says the Gemara like this: We said the last thing in the brisa that you're able to bring vessels, items to a professional to fix them, and you're also able to bring them back from the professional's house to your house. Papa said, Rabbi was testing us to see if we know what we're talking about. So Rabbi asked us like this: Tanan, learn the Mishnah, Melichin umivin kelim beisuman afa pisheim tzedek. Learn in our Mishnah just now that a person is able to bring, it's mutter for you to bring vessels, items to a professional, even though they're not needed for Yom Tov. So Rabbi asked us, I'll bring you a contradiction. Because in the next Mishnah, it says, Ein mivin kelim beisuman. It's us to bring kelim from professionals from a shop to your house. So we have a contradiction because we're in our mission we said that it's mutter to bring items from a professional back to your house, but in the second Mishnah it says the second Mishnah after this one says that it's asur. And ve'im chayshesh lahem sham yignavu, but the Mishnah continues and says if you're scared that maybe they're going to get stolen from the professional's house. Let's say this shop has a track record of the item getting stolen. So you're scared that if you leave it overnight in the professional's house, it's going to get stolen. So then you're able to take it from the professional's house to another field or another house. But you can't bring it to your house. So that's what he asked us. He asked us, we have a contradiction. One Mishnah says that you cannot bring items from a professional's house back home. And the second Mishnah says that you could bring items from professional's house home. So how do we answer? He asked us how do you answer the contradiction? Mushanina, and the Gemara answered like this. And Rabbi said we answered him like this. The Papa said we answered him like this. Like kasha. Very simple, just like we answered before. Kan barbas. The first base that says that it's mutter to bring items from a professional's house home. It's speaking about on Erev Pesach. On Erev Pesach, the Isra Malach is much more lenient, and therefore we're matter to take them back, bring them back home. The Mishnah said that's also to bring them back home. It's speaking about b'chol shemayid. It's speaking about Chol Hamoed. Therefore, Chol Hamoed is much more stringent, and therefore it's also to bring. If they're not the tzedek hamoed, if they're not for Yom Tov, you can't go and schlep items back from a professional's house home. It's one answer. Iba Seimer, another way of answering the contradiction is ha v'ha b'chol shemayid. Both cases are talking about Chol Hamoed. And like kasha, very simple. It's not a question. Ha b'mabi. The first case, that which we said that it's also to bring them back home is when you trust the worker, you trust the professional, and you're not scared that he might take your item and steal it or sell it to someone else, and therefore you have to leave it there. The second case is speaking about she'ein mamina. You don't trust the professional. You trusted him to fix your watch, for example, but you don't trust him that he's not going to steal your watch, eventually steal your watch or sell it, and therefore you are able to go and bring it back. Ask the Gemara about Tanya, we learn in the brisa. The Gemara brings a proof for this. For Tanya, we learn in the brisa. When a person is able to bring items on the Chol Hamoed from a professional's house, if you have a jug from the jug maker, and a glass cup from the glass maker, but you cannot bring wool from a wool dyer. And you cannot bring vessels, any other items from a professional's house. So only specific items we let you bring from a professional's house. But if you don't have anything to eat, if the professional doesn't have anything to eat, meaning he doesn't have any vessels, he needs his own items to eat. Then you pay him. Let's say you tell him to fix a cup, and the professional says, "Please, can you lend me your cup? I need a cup to drink from." So you're able to pay. You pay him for his work, and you lend him. You leave the item there in his house. But if you don't believe the professional, you're scared that the carpenter, you're scared he's going to sell your cup to someone else. You take the cup away from him and you put it in someone else's house. If you're scared that they're going to get stolen, so you're able to bring it home, but not in a public way, so people shouldn't see you bring items from the carpenter's house. So what do we see from here? We see from here that the Brisa clearly makes a difference between if you trust the carpenter, if you don't trust the carpenter. If you trust the carpenter, then you should leave it there because there's no reason for you to bring it home after today. If you don't trust him, it's going to get stolen, then you're able to bring it home. Says the Gemara, Tiratzta Mivin. Okay, so we answered the stira that we asked, that you're able to bring it back home. Yeah, we asked, one Mishnah says you can't bring it back home, another Mishnah said you could bring it back home. So that we answered. But Melichin Kasha, but we have another contradiction. One Brisa said you're able to bring it to a carpenter, and the other Brisa said you can't bring it to a carpenter. Yeah, the Ktani, Ein Mivin, the Koshkin, Ein Melichin. The Brisa said you can't bring it back home. For sure, you can't bring it there. So this you didn't answer. So answer the Gemara. So we have to say over here you can't answer that we're scared it's going to get stolen because we're thinking about bringing it to a carpenter's house. So what does it have a connection to if you're scared it's going to get stolen or not? So we have to answer like the first answer we answered before. The first answer we answered before was that there's a difference between Erev Pesach and Chol Hamoed. On Erev Pesach, it's mutter to bring items and bring back items. On Chol Hamoed, it's also not only to bring back items, but even not only to bring items there, but even to bring items back. Okay, let's stop over here by the Mishnah. We'll continue tomorrow from the Mishnah on Nun Hey Amud Beis. Have a good night.